The sound of metal screaming against metal still haunted Ethan Cole, a man who built empires, who was used to saving companies, not lives. But that night a broken bar, it wasn't about boardrooms or billion-dollar deals. It was about a choice between walking away or running into the fire. Ethan Cole was known as the Iron CEO. Widowed young, he raised his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, while leading one of the biggest tech firms in the country. People admired him, feared him, envied him, but no one truly knew him. Behind that perfect suit was a man breaking inside, every day, missing the wife he lost in a tragic car crash 3 years ago. Since that day, he had promised himself one thing and never to love again. But fate doesn't follow promises. It was a stormy evening when Ethan's car broke down on a remote highway, miles from the city. He cursed under his breath, hitting the steering wheel, glancing at the clock. Lily was waiting at home with her nanny, and he hated being late. He stepped out to check his tires when, suddenly, the night cracked with the sound of an explosion. He turned and saw flames. A car was engulfed in fire at the curve of the road, smoke clawing toward the sky. Without thinking, Ethan sprinted toward it. The flames reflected in his eyes, heat searing his face. He could hear someone screaming, a woman's voice. "Help, please, see someone help me." Ethan pulled off his jacket and threw it over his face, trying to reach the driver's side. The heat was unbearable, but he didn't stop. The handle burned his skin, and when he finally pried open the door, the sight froze him. Inside was a woman in a torn white wedding dress, her wrists chained to the steering wheel. "Go to broken bar, what happened to you?" he muttered, choking on smoke. She looked up, eyes filled with tears and terror. "Please, get me out. I don't want to die here." Ethan didn't ask questions. He grabbed the chain and yanked, but it wouldn't budge. The fire licked closer, the heat suffocating. He searched desperately and found a tire iron in the backseat. With a surge of adrenaline, he smashed the lock holding her wrists until it cracked open. "Come on!" he shouted, pulling her free just as the car's hood exploded behind them. He wrapped his arms around her and dragged her away, shielding her from the blast. They fell to the ground together, gasping for air, as the car went up in flames behind them. When she finally opened her eyes again, they were in a hospital room. Ethan sat by her bedside, his hand wrapped in bandages. Her wrist still had marks from the chains. "You're safe," he said quietly. She blinked, trying to remember. "Yeah, broken bar, I was getting married," she whispered. "And in a broken bar someone kidnapped me. My fiancé tilde copyright's brother. He didn't want me to marry him. He said if he couldn't have me, no one could." Her voice cracked. "He locked me in that car and drove it off the road." Ethan's fists tightened. "He'll pay for what he did." But the woman looked down, tears falling. "There's no one left. My family's gone. I have nowhere to go." Ethan hesitated. This woman, this stranger, had been moments from death, and something about her eyes reminded him of the strength he'd lost in himself. "Then you will stay with me," he said firmly, "at least until you're ready." Weeks passed. Her name was Amelia Grace. She had a soft voice, the kind that carried warmth even in silence. She cooked breakfast for Lily, read her stories, and filled the house with laughter Ethan hadn't heard in years. One night, as Ethan stood in the hallway, he overheard Lily ask Amelia, "Are you going to be my new mommy?" The question hit him like a wave. Amelia froze, smiling sadly. "I don't know, sweetheart," she said softly, "but I'll always be here for you." Ethan turned away, his heart tightening. He didn't want to admit it, but something had changed. The man who vowed never to love again a broken bar found himself falling for the woman he'd saved from fire. But peace never lasts forever. One evening, Ethan received a call from the police. Amelia's past had caught up with her. Her ex-fiancé tilde copyright's brother had escaped custody and he was coming for her. Ethan's blood ran cold. "Over my dead body," he said, grabbing his keys. That night, the mansion's power went out. Lily was asleep upstairs, and Amelia was in the living room when the windows shattered. The man stepped in, gun in hand, eyes burning with madness. "You should have died in that car," he hissed. Amelia backed away, trembling, until he aimed the gun. But before he could pull the trigger, Ethan tackled him from behind. They crashed into the floor, struggling violently. The gun slid across the room. Ethan took a hit to the face but kept fighting, fueled by fury and love. Finally, Amelia grabbed the gun, hands shaking, and fired a single shot into the ceiling. The sound froze everyone. "Get out!" she screamed through tears. "This ends tonight." The police arrived moments later, dragging the man away. Ethan held Amelia close, feeling her sobs against his chest. "It's over," he whispered. "You're safe now." Months later, the headlines read, Tech CEO marries woman he rescued from fiery crash. Their wedding wasn't about luxury, it was about survival, healing, and second chances. As Amelia walked down the aisle in a simple white gown, Ethan's eyes welled with tears. When the priest said, "You may kiss the bride," Lily cheered. "Daddy's happy again." And for the first time in years, Ethan truly was.